Welcome to Debutante Renegade. On today's show, the importance of gratitude in a relationship. But first, if you're not already subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell next to it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I always love your comments. If you have a question or topic you'd like me to go over, send me an email, debutanterenegade@gmail.com, and I will definitely get back to you. So for today, we're talking about gratitude in a relationship. But before we get to that, before we get to gratitude in a relationship, I just want to say a couple things about having a daily gratitude practice in general. I will say for me, I feel like having a daily gratitude practice has drastically changed my life and the way that I feel in my skin, the way I feel in my body, the way I feel about people, the way I interact. So I cannot underestimate the value of gratitude and what it brings. I grew up in a pretty negative environment and around people that tend to speak very negatively, especially my mother. Bless her, she has her own challenges and her own reasons, but she frequently spoke ill of pretty much every person in her life and was constantly complaining. So I grew up with that. And I think that we as a society, as a culture, have a tendency to complain about things around each other. It's kind of a socialized thing where we get around each other and we just kind of complain about this. We're like, oh, did you hear about that? Oh, it's just so annoying. All of this stuff is so frustrating. And listen, gratitude practice aside, I fall into that pattern myself. We live in a culture that makes it really easy to get negative and speak negatively about situation, things, people. Gossip seems to be a popular thing. We love to complain. We're kind of socialized to complain and gossip. Even if we don't really want to do it, even if it doesn't really feel good, it's kind of what we know. It's kind of how we're socialized to be. So, and it takes a lot to be conscious of that and to break it. And, we can all do our part. And I'm super conscious of it. I still do it probably every single day, despite being aware of it, despite knowing that I feel better when I don't do that. We have a tendency to kind of complain about things, and it's something that I'm always working on. So all that said, having a gratitude practice really changed things for me. I think I started in my late 20s when I started meditating. I would meditate, and then at the end of my meditation, I would come up with 10 things in my life that I was grateful for. It could be something as simple as having a roof over my head, having a car, having good friends, my dog, whatever it was. I would just think of 10 things that I was grateful for. And sometimes I was in a bad mood and I wasn't feeling grateful. I would go through the motions of what I was grateful for anyway. I would list the things off in my mind, even if I wasn't feeling the sense of gratitude for those things. I was like, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, however that played out in my mind. But what I would find is at a certain point of having this habit, this practice, this daily gratitude practice, at a certain point, I started to actually feel gratitude for those things. Like, feel the gratitude for having a roof over my head, feel the gratitude for having the freedom of a car, for the job that I have, for my friends, the people that I love and care about, that love and care about me, for this wonderful animal that fills my life with joy. I would start to really feel the gratitude, and I found that feeling that gratitude, that sense, that feeling would stick with me in my day. And I feel like it shifted my attitude to a more positive, better attitude toward things in life in general and people. So it just, it starts to kind of bleed out and affect other aspects of your life. And it has a positive effect, a really positive effect. And after a decade and a half of that daily practice, and don't get me wrong, there's been periods of months that have gone by where I haven't done that. But for the most part, I am a daily meditator. Again, I go through phases where I get lazy about it and I don't do it, but I've been very disciplined this year so far about meditating every single day, rain or shine, no matter how I feel. Meditate. Now, with that, I always take stock in at least a few things that I'm grateful for, and I just allow myself to feel the gratitude. But overall in my life, since I began my gratitude practice, I just feel a lot lighter and a lot more grateful for things in general, and I'll see things in a different way. When things happen to me, I'll find myself looking at the silver lining, even in a tough situation. And it's just the way that having gratitude, it sort of shifts your thinking, your consciousness, your brain, the way your neurotransmitters fire across your synapses. It kind of gives you new pathways, new ways of thinking about things. That's the gift that you give yourself when you have a gratitude practice. So with that, this leads me to gratitude in a relationship. Now, all of our partners, they all have issues, right? Anyone you're in a relationship with, they're all going to have their pros and cons. Everyone's got their issues. Nobody is perfect. Everyone's going to do things that are irritating or triggering or annoying or selfish or whatever. Everyone has their stuff, including us. We all have our stuff. I am not without my stuff. I am by no means perfect. I have my flaws. I do my best to own them, but they're there nonetheless. Always trying to be better, always trying to do better. That said, we're talking about our partners this time, right? So our partners, they all have this stuff. And it can be really easy to get hung up on something annoying that your partner does, whether it's the way they load the dishwasher or how they act in social situations or something else that they do that consistently irritates you or bothers you. And it can be really easy to get hung up on those things and really focus on those things and really put those things under a microscope. But when we do that, we really start to focus on the negative in our partners, and we start to lose sight of the positives and the reasons that brought us with that person to begin with. And this creates a separation, and it also makes us start to take that person's presence in our life for granted when we focus on the negative. So that's what happens when you focus on the negative things. So I would challenge everyone out there, if you know you have an overall good partner, I would challenge you to focus less on the negative, to try to let more of that negative stuff go, and to do the contrary, to focus on the positive. To be grateful, to think of those things that your partner does that you love, that you like. Does your partner give you a hug every morning? Do they make you coffee? Do they always run an errand for you? What are the things that your partner does? Do they bring you flowers? Do they get you gifts? Does your partner make you a nice meal at the end of a long day? Do they make you a drink? Do they pour you a glass of wine? Do they get you a cup of water while you're working hard at your computer? What are the nice things that your partner does? Do you go for walks together? Do you have great conversation? Do they make you laugh? Are they good in bed? Do they give you pleasure? What are some of the things that you like to do with your partner? What are some of the areas where your partner excels? Do you love watching shows together and talking about them? There's any number of things that you probably enjoy about your partner. Do they always do the driving? Do they have great taste in music? Do you guys go to fun shows together? Do you share an interest in art together? What are the things that you like about your partner? Really focus on those things. And when you do, when you really focus on the things that you like in your partner, the things that you're grateful for, and you start to put those things under your microscope, then you start to feel so much more gratitude and love and joy for the person that you're with. And that starts to show the way that you act toward them. It's more like how you were in the beginning of your relationship, just more loving and happy and joyful in their presence, because you see all the ways that they add to your life and the way they add to your experience, and you have gratitude and love and joy for them, and you can be in that feeling and embrace them from there. The more you start to put that out there in the world, a lot of times it reciprocates back to you. No, don't do it so it will reciprocate back to you, and it won't always. Sometimes you can have tremendous love and gratitude for your partner, and they're taking you for granted and putting you under that scrutinizing microscope of criticism. So it can go both ways. But all you can do is be the best that you can be for yourself and in your relationship. And part of being the best that you can be is being grateful and focusing on the good. That said, if you have an unhealthy relationship, if your partner's hating you, then don't focus on the good. Get out of that relationship. I'm not saying justify somebody's poor or bad, terrible behavior by focusing on the good qualities, but they're so nice, but he loves me, or whatever it is. Don't do that. Don't overlook a huge red flag. But if your partner is overall a good partner and a good companion, then really focus on the good things, the things that brought you to this person to begin with, the things that you love and enjoy about them. Really focus on those things. Get more of those things for yourself. Give them more of your love. Be in gratitude. See the things about them that you're so grateful for. Because I'm going to be honest with you guys. I've been, part of doing this podcast is I get a lot of relationship questions from people, situations, and I do a lot of research. I really dive deep into different places on the internet, different dating groups, different groups of people who are going through different experiences regarding dating, relationships, sex, etc. And I see a lot of stuff. And the more I look around out there and I see how hard it is for a lot of people and how hard dating and relationships are in general, in all honesty, it makes me really grateful for the partner that I have, despite his imperfections, despite the things that, aren't great about him or us or whatever. The good outweighs the bad, and it really makes me feel so much more appreciative for him. And I know that when I'm in deep appreciation for him and gratitude and love, and I'm really appreciating what he brings to the table in our relationship and the things that he does and says and the ways that he is, when I'm really in deep appreciation for those things, it just makes the relationship a lot nicer. It makes me feel better. It makes me feel better in my own life, and I certainly think that it makes him feel better. I mean, don't you love it when your partner loves and appreciates things about you? Don't you love it when your partner's really happy and pleased with you and in joy and love and gratitude with you? Doesn't that feel so good? It feels so good. It's like the rest of the world can be shitty, but you have each other and you're grateful for each other and you got a good thing going and you know it and you're living it and you're feeling it. So I challenge all of you out there who are in reasonably good relationships to really focus on the good in your partner, to focus on what you can be grateful for. What can you be grateful for about your partner? What are the things that you really love and enjoy about the person who's in your life, about your significant other or significant others if you've got multiple? What can you really love and enjoy? And really focus on that. Find gratitude for that. See how it feels to be in that, and do that every day. And let me know how that works in your relationship. Let me know how that pans out for you. And let me know if your partner ends up reciprocating or how long it takes. I'm here, always listening, love your comments. If you want to ask me something, reach out to me, debutanterenegade@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening. I'm grateful for all of you and your support. I really am. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a beautiful rest of your day.